At this time, I would love to turn it over to Dr. Shannon, our Assistant Superintendent of Elementary Education. Dr. Shannon.
Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate having an opportunity to welcome the group this morning. We are so proud to be able to have this opportunity to show some of the amazing things that are happening in our classrooms with all of you today. Proud of the work that has been taking place to get prepared for this. As we're sure you can understand this point in the year, it's been a lot of really collective and deliberate effort from our sites, from our principals, our students, and our teachers. And we just could not do this work without them. I want to thank Jennifer Robbins, our Director of Elementary Education, and her team for helping us pull all the technical components of this day together with partnership from our teachers on special assignment. We are confident that this is going to be an opportunity for you to just get to know a little bit more about Downey Unified, and for you, quite frankly, to hopefully have some takeaways that will be something that can be used as inspiration as you continue each of your journeys forward in this work we do to support students and student achievement. I also want to send a really big shout out to Dr. George from the Apple Education team. Dr. George has been just a colleague and a mentor and just a partner every step of the way. Dr. George, as you know, we appreciate you greatly and all the wisdom and quite frankly, the patience you've brought to us as we've been on this journey together. So big kudos to you, sir, for that. With that said, I want to keep my comments relatively brief because we want to value everyone's time and get you to where the meat of today's program is. And with that, I do want to turn it over to our superintendent, Dr. John Garcia, who will give a bit more detail as to the background or the how with regard to what brings us to where we are at today to be able to present these wonderful learning environments to everyone. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is John Garcia. I have the distinct pleasure of being the superintendent of Downey Unified School District. This is my 9th year as the superintendent of Downey Unified. I'm really, really proud to serve in this position. This is my hometown. I grew up here, so the work that I do is not only professional, but it's personal every single day. So by way of a little bit of geography, I know we have people from around the country. We have people from around the globe. By way of geography, if you've ever been to LAX, if you've been to Los Angeles, you've been to LAX, we're about 20 miles straight east of LAX. You don't want to go west because that puts you in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. But if you go 20 miles east, that's where we are. So we are about 22,000 students in our school district, kindergarten through 12th grade. We've always had about that many. So in California, we're considered what's called a large district, not one of the mega districts like our neighbor Los Angeles Unified, but a large district. We are a publicly funded school district. We're a public school district, which means we are funded by the state of California. Demographically, about 70% of our students qualify for some type of financial assistance, financial aid from the state or the federal government. So with that being said, we're very proud of our graduation rate from high school. And we're very proud of our college going rate because they exceed what our demographics might indicate that our students would be achieving. And so something we're very proud of. Our journey started, I guess, almost 10 years ago at this point. In 2014, our Board of Education, who are elected by our community members, they formulated a vision. And that vision was to make sure that we provided a 21st century education for every one of our graduates that ensured 3 things: that they were college and career ready, that they were citizens of strong character, and lastly, but very, very importantly, that they were globally competitive, that our kids from Downey Unified could compete with any kids from anywhere in the entire world. And so that launched our work into starting our initiatives. Really want to thank Dr. George for his partnership over the years. but we have a lot of our staff on here who have really made that vision a reality. We started implementing a training program with our teachers many years ago to work with them, because our underlying philosophy was that if our teachers didn't know how to effectively use the devices, then how could they facilitate that learning model with our students? So we started a robust training program with all of our teachers that ramped up over the 5 years. When the pandemic hit about, obviously a little over 2 years ago, we shut down. Our teachers, our staff was able to roll up into a distance learning model because of the training that they had had. And at that time, really felt strong enough to pursue the designation of Apple Distinguished School. So I'm really, really proud of our teachers, of our leaders in the district, who felt like in order to be the best that we can be for our students, we need to continue pursuing our training as staff, especially in this digital learning environment, and get that designation as Apple Distinguished Teacher, ultimately Apple Distinguished School. And we are on our way toward expanding that to more schools. Right now we have 5. We're expanding that to more of our elementary schools, and then having conversations about running that up into our middle schools as well. So again, without the support of Apple, of Dr. George, of the work of all of our entire team in Downey Unified, none of that happens. And it all started in 2014 with the vision of our school board. I think maybe some of our Board of Education members are with us today, but it started with their vision in 2014 to say we need to modernize, become that 21st century learning model for our students. So that being said, Jennifer or Wayne, is there any information, or even Dr. George, about the district that maybe I didn't hit that maybe you'd like for me to cover? I do want to say it's a great honor. Dr. George, again, thank you for your partnership. It's a great honor to be able to host this event with folks from all over the United States and all over the globe.
Thank you, Dr. Garcia. Dr. Garcia, is there anything else you wanted to add on to, or we appreciate you so much?
No, thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. It's great to be able to. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Well, once again, thank you everyone for coming. Again, we said it when people were first starting to log on. We're so humbled to have all of you here to join us and to take a glimpse into our classrooms, to see the learning that's happening and be able to provide us with some feedback, some celebrations, hopefully, and for us to build a community where we can learn from each other and continue this journey together and continue to share ideas. And before we visit the classrooms, which I know we are all waiting for, and I know I am definitely in between us and where, as Dr. Garcia says, the magic happens, which is in our classrooms, we wanted to provide you just a little bit of a background and some context for when we go virtually into our classrooms to have an understanding of what is happening there. And as Dr. Garcia said, our mantra is our kids deserve the best. And he shared our vision with you, which we truly believe in and live every single day. This is what helps guide us in our work, in the decisions that we're making, in the programs that we're designing, and in the opportunities and access that we're giving to our students. And so we look to this vision, we look to the direction our school board has given us to help make sure that we are fulfilling this every day. And as Dr. Garcia said, when we started on this journey, close to 7 years ago, one of the other things, you can see this quote here, that we really also held true in the work that we were doing was making sure that technology was just a part of our kids' lives and their learning experiences. We didn't want the kids to look at it as something special that they get to do. We wanted it just to be a part of their learning day, just as the pencil, a book, a piece of paper, a whiteboard. We wanted that device to be a tool that they look at to know that this is another way that they can accelerate their learning, they can show us their thinking, and just have it be a part of who they are and what we do every day. And So with that, again, with our vision, it definitely doesn't happen on an island. It takes everyone working together and being on the same team for our students. And that is how we operate here in Downey Unified. We believe in the coherence model. We believe in all working together to do whatever is necessary to provide our students these programs and these learning opportunities, because at the end of the day, they are why we are here, and they are who we want to be successful and to have everything they need to take advantage of every opportunity that comes their way. And so we've been very deliberate in making sure that we do all communicate and collaborate and work together, all moving in the same direction for our kids. And so our technology department, our instructional departments, our school sites, our teachers on special assignment, our administrators, our teachers, we all work together moving forward to help make what we have designed happen for our kids. And we all depend on each other and have that relationship to be able to call each other whenever we need something. Everyone understands what everyone's role and support is, and having that coherence across all sites was critical. And Dr. Garcia and the board years ago, when we talked about this coherence model, and as a school district and specifically to elementary, we're designing this, we wanted to make sure that we promised our community and our families that it didn't matter what school they went to, they were going to have access to foundational core programs. It didn't matter what school you went to, it didn't matter what street you lived on, you were going to get all of our core programs. You were going to have access to technology. You were going to have access to coding, to robotics, to our innovation STEAM labs. It wasn't special for one school or another school. You got this no matter where you went to. And then dependent on the kids getting that access to it, then they could in turn pursue it at a different level at their site with clubs and after school opportunities. But at the core, we wanted to promise this to everyone. And so with that, also looking to Apple, and again, reiterating what Dr. Shannon said and Dr. Garcia as well, in terms of Dr. George, really providing us that sounding board and that partnership and that relationship to really push ourselves to make sure we were continuing to evolve, continuing to learn. And when you read the statement here that Apple says, and you really look at that last sentence, that is what we wanted to make sure we were doing for our kids. We wanted to connect them to the world. We wanted to fuel their creativity. We wanted to make learning for them relevant and engaging, so they owned it. So they were excited to come to school every day. So they couldn't wait to be able to continue their learning even outside of the school day. And it just connected so much to our own district vision as well. It just made sense that this was the route that we wanted to pursue for our kids. And going back to foundational things and what our guidance was with our vision, we were also very adamant from the start that everything we did around the integration of technology was going to be tied to the 4 C's. And in Downey Unified, we also add in character counts, which is our character development program, because this is where the heart of the education that we do lie. We didn't want to create lessons or have devices to be a tool where our kids for drill and kill, where it was just substitution. We wanted to make sure everything we were doing, everything we were designing was to reinforce the 4 C's of communication, of collaboration, critical thinking, creativity, and also weaving character counts throughout all of those for our kids, because giving them these opportunities and these foundational skills is what was going to amplify their voice, which was going to give them choice in their learning, which was going to prepare them for the future. Like Dr. Garcia said, for jobs we don't even know about yet, that haven't even been created yet. These are skills that are going to help them be successful, own their learning, and really be able to showcase their understanding of content and their thinking, and allow us to see that thinking. And so a few of the tools, just a sample of some of the tools that we have that our kids have access to, that the ultimate goal is to give them choice in these tools to show us how they've learned. And you'll see that today in the classrooms. You'll see kids explaining to you which tool they wanted to use to be able to show their understanding of content, to be able to let us see into their brains and into their thinking, and make that visible for all of us to see. So again, just a few sampling. We'll share these with you as well, but you'll see some of these in action today when we go live into our classrooms. And with that too, again, a little bit of a sneak peek here and understanding our process of what you'll see in our classrooms. So, tied to our Apple Distinguished School applications and our vision in action. And you see our kids here engaged in their learning. They're inspiring others to be leaders, being innovative and creative in their classrooms. Voice and choice is critical for us, for our students, and starting in as early as TK and kindergarten, and giving them their voice. They're not silent participants in their learning. They are active, engaged learners. And that is what we want to encourage. And we want to inspire in our kids as we do this work together. And having that freedom of thinking, allowing them to choose in all of our content areas and with their tools, again, how to show us what they know. That growth mindset for us is a critical piece too of everything we do, not only for our students, but for our teachers and for our administrators. We have evolved to realizing we don't know everything. And there are many times throughout our journey in the classrooms when the teachers are handing it over to the kids to be the facilitators of the learning, because that's what we want. And we want the kids teaching the adults. And you'll see that in a moment in our student leadership, that our kids are leading the learning for the adults as well. It's a two-way street. And having that growth mind has really helped to accelerate that mindset as well. And our learning in action, interactive. Oftentimes I think people think if students have a device, and especially if they have a one-to-one model, you're going to see isolation. You're going to see students working independently. And it's really actually the opposite. You'll see in these classrooms that this is a tool now that not only allows them to connect outside of their walls, outside of their school, but it's inspiring each other in their classrooms to work together. And again, focusing on that collaboration and communication with each other. When you walk into our classrooms, and when hopefully at a point we can visit in person, and we would love to have you come and see it live in action, you'll hear that learning buzz and just that magic happening in the classrooms, because the kids are excited, and they're excited that they all have a voice in what they're learning. They're really showing us that deep understanding of content. Again, we didn't want this to be a device of substitution, of drill and kill. We don't need to create little human computers to just regurgitate back information to us. We need that. We have that already. We have that on our wrist. We have that in our hand. We have that sitting in front of us. We need to create kids who can be those critical thinkers and have those deep connections to be able to be innovative and continue creating for the world, really. And having them have opportunities to communicate their thinking, student-centered, that student reflection, and again, voice and choice. Having a device as a tool allows teachers to hear everyone's thinking, to see everyone's thinking. Our 4th and 5th grade classrooms can have up to 36 students. And so when they're solving their math problems, when they're sharing their understanding of the shared reading they just had, when they're working in teams on their science activity, they now are able to use these different tools to record their thinking, to document their thinking, so the teachers can go back and hear everyone's thinking. It's just a powerful, powerful tool. And not only do they know their teacher is going to be able to hear what their thinking was and see what they've known, they also can share that thinking with each other and help, again, support each other, inspire each other, and continue to help each other grow in their learning and their understanding. Our teachers are amazing. I know all the teachers across the world are amazing, but of course we're a little biased with our Downey Unified teachers that they, as we always say, make the magic happen in the classrooms. They are designing these learning experiences. They are modeling for our kids. You never stop learning. You never stop taking chances. You have that growth mindset to take risks. And it's okay if we make mistakes, because that's how we learn, that's how we grow, that's how we become better. And our teachers are constantly taking advantage of professional development opportunities. During distance learning, when our teachers were all home, we were still offering professional learning for our teachers, and it was in a voluntary manner on Zoom. And we had offered over 80 sessions during distance learning, and we had almost all of our teachers participating with different choices, giving them choice as well, because they wanted to connect with their kids and they wanted to continue to provide those opportunities. And it's been really key in a cornerstone of the work that we do here in Downey Unified. All of our administrators and teachers have worked to become Apple certified, and our administrators as well. They know they have to model for their sites as well. So we also have a large amount of people who have gone through the Apple coach training as well. And we have a large new cohort that is going through that training, again, to be able to continue to learn and continue to create and innovate for our kids. So we have our success too, that again, you'll see glimpses of today. Our kids are excited, they're positive about learning, they want to be there. Increased family engagement, student leadership, partnerships, again, just providing different opportunities for our students. And we have next steps as well. We want to continue to build our collaborative learning environments. This is critical for us to make sure that our kids are never in isolation, that they are always in that collaborative environment where we are learning from each other, and we are learning from each other again outside of not only their classroom, but outside of their school as well. We want to expand our student tech squads, robotics and coding. You'll see our student tech squads in action today. Some of our leadership teams where, again, they're helping lead their school sites in the work that we're doing. Our tech squads provide parent education for our families. They've provided trainings at staff meetings. So we really, again, are partnering with them to continue this work. We always want to continue our professional learning. As educators, we never stop learning. And we want to also, you'll see a little bit of it today, but really start to expand our work in augmented reality, and additional elementary schools will begin the ADS process over the next few years too. Today, when we visit our classrooms, you will be going to 5 schools. These are our 5 current Apple Distinguished schools. We were so honored and just amazed to be a part of this process, again, to learn, to continue to grow, to continue to innovate for our schools, for our kids. Because again, that's what we wanted to give our kids, access to all the opportunities that we can provide for them. And when you see these classrooms today, again, we want to remind you, you are seeing this all student driven. The camera crew are students. They have the iPad, and we are going live into these 5 school sites. You will see student facilitators giving you the tour of the learning that is happening. They will be facilitating the questions with the students who are in action in their rooms, in the middle of current learning, in the middle of current projects that they have right now. We're getting ready to go there in just a moment, but before we jump into these amazing classrooms with our just phenomenal students, we also want to let you know that at the end of our presentation today, you will also be getting, we like to call this your party favor. So we will be giving you this highlight deck as well, which gives you, again, the the why and the snapshot of what's happening in the classrooms that you see. So it will give the summary the learning that was happening. It will give you the tools that were being used in the classrooms by the students and some resources as well. If this, what you see is interest of you that you want to start or think more deeply about for your own students that you're here for today to learn more about. So we will be giving this to you as well. And we want you right now, as we get ready to go into our first classroom. Once again, this is all student driven. We are going to go live into 5 different schools, and want you just to turn up your volume. We want you to lean in, and we want you just to take in all of the learning that you are about to see. And at the end of our 5 schools, we will then have an opportunity, as Dr. George said, for our panel Q&A. We will have the chat turned off for our school visits, but know that we will turn it back on. And if you don't get your questions answered today, we will continue to answer them on the Padlet. But really right now, again, turn up the volume, lean in, and please just take a tour of the learning that's happening. And we're going to start off. I'm excited for us to go live to our Lewis All-Stars. Lewis, please take it away.
Hey, Miss Robbins. We're reporting live from Lewis Elementary School, home of the All-Stars, in room D3, Mrs. Ogleturf's kindergarten class. What are your kindergarten students learning in here?
Right now, students are working on counting collections where they have an opportunity to practice one-to-one correspondence, number sequence, organizational skills, and cardinality. You'll notice students are at various stages of the process due to the fact that they're working at their own pace and each item contains a different amount of numbers of items. Once students have their collection organized, they take a picture on their iPad. That picture gets uploaded into the Draw and Tell app, where students choose a writing tool to write how many they have, as well as orally record themselves counting. The final step of their process is to add their counting collection to a classroom Padlet where all students have access to each other's counting collections.
Wow, thank you so much. Now, let's take a closer look and see what these kindergarten students are learning. Hi, Emma. Can you tell us what you are counting?
I am counting animals.
How are you organizing them?
I'm organizing them by rows.
Can you count them for us?
Yes. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
What color do you have the most of?
Yellow.
What color do you have the least of?
Pink.
Pink. How many do you have?
I have 36.
36? What do you do when you're done organizing them?
I go to the camera app and take a picture
How do you take a good picture?
to make sure it's not blurry or fuzzy.
Why is it good to take a good value photo?
To make sure it's not blurry or fuzzy and you can see it.
Thank you so much. Now we're heading over to Vanessa, where she's at the Draw and Tell table. Can you tell me what app you're using to show the? Can you tell me the steps of how to do that?
You go here, you find your counting collection, and then you number down and write the number and then record.
Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
And then you save it to your photo.
Can you show me how to do that?
What do I record?
Yeah, can you show me?
Can't press it.
It's okay. Can you tell me what this is?
Draw and Tell.
Thank you. Now let's go back to just Mia. How do you use Padlet?
You scan the QR code. Let me show you. Then center pop out here or here.
Can you show us the steps to Padlet, and can you show the audience?
You push the plus sign, then write your name, J, and then after that you press the picture that one, use, and then publish.
Thank you so much. Here, Vanessa. Hey, can you tell me what you're working on?
I am counting the popsicles.
Can you show me?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Thank you. Can you tell me what anything else?
No, that's okay. Amy.
Let's go.
Can you believe our kindergarten students are accomplishing so much? Wow, this is just a snapshot into the life of an all-star learner at Lewis Elementary School. And this is just the beginning. Now we're sending you off into Imperial Elementary School, home of the Bulldogs.
Thank you, Jismaya from Lewis. Welcome to Imperial Elementary. I'm here in D6 with Mrs. Moran, whose students are working on storytelling through movies. Mrs. Moran, what are your students' apps using?
Good morning, Amy. My students are working on storytelling through movies using iMovie, Clips, Adobe Spark Video, and green screen. Students were given the choice to pick any movie app that they felt comfortable with, and groups were created from there. After that, they got to decide collaboratively who would take on what jobs. So creating storyboards using Keynote, using Keynote to also create animations for their videos, choosing music that was royalty free that they could use and publish and share with each other. They also used apps like Canva to create title pages, to create the different slides for their videos. They were recording each other and using the green screen and creating just different directions for each other. It's been awesome to see all of their work come to life. They've worked so hard, and I hope that you get to see all of their amazing stuff.
Thank you, Mrs. Moran. Good morning, Tejas. What are you working on?
I'm using iMovie and Sketches School to retell the story of the Lemonade War. My teammates are drawing the pictures on Sketches School, then they'll airdrop it to me, and Aiden will put it all together.
How did you decide on iMovie?
I like iMovie because you can easily piece all the pictures together. Then you can edit the tape to make it easier for the audience to read. I also like that it has different tools like sound effects, add text, pictures, and videos.
Thanks, Tejas. Can you show us how to add the pictures inside?
So you go to the plus sign here, then you go to moments, and then you pick a picture, you press the cloud, and then you press plus, and then it's inserted.
Thanks, Tejas. Moving over to Edgar, where students are working on Adobe Spark Video.
Elaine, what do you like best about Adobe Spark Video?
My favorite thing about Adobe Spark Video is the different choices it gives us. I love picking out the different fonts, backgrounds, themes, and different templates too.
Did you get to choose this app?
Yes, I chose it because I thought it would be very helpful for the project we're working on, and it's called the Lemonade War. Me and my teammates worked very hard on this project.
Can you show us some of those features?
To add a text, you go to theme, and then to add a layer, you press this little plus sign, and then that's how you add a layer. You have to be on a layer, and you can't be on credits or the outro because it won't work. It won't work. It would only go there. And the music you can add up here.
Thanks, Elaine. Now moving over to Hello, where students are working on clips.
Good morning, Hella. What are you working on?
Clips is an app where we could add in pictures, emojis, and text. We are also app smashing with Canva and Sketches School to create our own tests and backgrounds.
Thanks, Hella. Good morning, Mila. What is app smashing?
App smashing is where you can use different apps like Padlet, Flipgrid, Poplet, Piccolage, and lots of other apps. For example, I made this. I can save it to the library. And then I could go to my photos or camera. Oh, 1 second. Mm, it's loading. Never mind. Thanks, Mila. Moving over to Edgar, where students are working on green screen.
Yeah, what is your team doing with green screen?
We're acting out the story, The Lemonade War. We have been writing our script, picking out backgrounds, and also editing our videos from green screen to iMovie.
What do you like best about green screen?
I like that green screen lets us edit anything and go anywhere in the world.
Can you show us some of those features?
We have our little scene here, and then we would save the video, put it to green screen, and we put everything in order. First of all, the background goes down there, scene goes there, and you're done. We would export the video to iMovie. And then here is the scene.
Thank you, Leah. Wow, some creative movie ideas. Thank you so much, C6. Let's pass it off over to Mrs. Curcio's students over at Golden.
Thanks, Imperial. Hi, welcome to Golden. My name is Kayleen and this is Daniel, and we are members of our tech squad. Today we're going to take a sneak peek into Mrs. Curcio's 4th grade classroom. Hi, Miss Curcio. Can you please tell us a little bit about what you're working on right now?
Hi, welcome to our classroom. Students are currently learning about the people that traveled to California during the gold rush era, and they're learning about life on the minefields, on the gold minefields. And what they're currently working on is they've learned and researched about the risk of traveling to California and the hardships of working on the gold fields. So they're using a variety of apps now to share their opinion about whether or not people should be coming to California during this time period. Some of the apps that you may see today are Keynote. They've also been using green screen, stop motion. They are using Reality Composer to put together a scene in AR reality. And I hope you're impressed by what they're doing. I know I am.
Wow, that's so amazing. Now let's send it over to Daniel to take a closer look at what the students are doing.
Hi, Carlos. Can you please share with us what you're doing and demonstrate why you like using this app to learn?
Yes. I'm using the stop motion app to show the life of a farmer and his experience during the gold rush. I have created a Lego scene. I have created the Lego scene to show his shop during the shop owner. I take a series of snapshots like you can see right here, which is 271 frames. I do it by barely moving it a teeny tiny bit, each part. Then I take a snapshot. And then what it could become is this. I like using this app because I have been interested in stop motion for a very long time, since I was about 3.
Thanks for sharing, Carlos. Share with us what you're doing and why you like to use this app.
We are using the Reality Composer app to create a scene from the California Gold Rush. Our project is based on the life of a Chinese miner. We like this app because it can create a fun visual and you can add stuff in a 3D format. We like using this app because we can create and explore augmented reality and be as creative as we want.
We can even do behaviors like this. So for example, when you tap the map, all of a sudden this would show up. So you tap the map and it shows up. And then you just continue the cycle and everything just goes into a chain reaction. That's why we like using Reactive Composer app.
Thanks for sharing. Hi, McKenna. Can you please explain what you're doing?
Yes, I'm using the green screen and Keynote app to create a presentation on the life of a woman hotel owner during the gold rush. And first, I use green screen to create a video to recreate a scene from my journey to the gold fields. Like this, I just make a video from the camera roll and I add a couple backgrounds and there's my video. And I put in this video into Keynote on a slide to create this presentation. I like using this app because I can use many different animations like motion path, where I just press a picture and I press animate and I can press the action I want, which I chose motion path. And when I press play, it moves it all the way up to where I want it. You also drag a dot. Magic Move also shows the wagon bigger on the next slide.
Thanks for sharing. Well, you've seen into the life of a fearless learner here at Golden Elementary. Fearlessly learning every day, everywhere. Now over to you, Old River School.
Thank you, Golden. I'm Natalia, a student on the Gay Tech Squad here at Old River School. We are live in Miss Neal's fifth grade classroom, where there are wildlife activists working on a solution to help save wildlife here in Los Angeles. Let's hear from Miss Neal to tell us more about it.
Hi, Natalia and everyone out there. Today we're live in my fifth grade classroom where students are working in collaborative groups on a wildlife and biodiversity project that was inspired by the Wallace Annenberg Wildlife Crossing being built here in Los Angeles. So students are applying their knowledge of biodiversity and wildlife conservation in the STEAM challenge, where they are designing wildlife bridges out of classroom materials to help save mountain lions in our current area. That's our sphere in here though. Today you'll see lots of different parts of the engineering and design process. You'll see some teams that have built their prototype and are still iterating their bridges. You'll see some teams that have completed the STEAM challenge and are now finishing up their documentation. And then you'll see some teams that have started to put together their documentation in a video news broadcast that will be shared with our whole class. Up first to show you an awesome prototype animation is Sanaya.
I made a quick animation to summarize the problem and solution after reading about the Animal Crossing coming to LA. This keynote is showing how the cougars and other animals cannot cross the freeway. Then we came up with a solution showing how we could build a bridge to help them cross to the other side so we can stop isolating them, so we have more biodiversity.
Wow, that's so awesome. Let's go hear from some different wildlife groups to see what they're up to. Hi, Bertha. What part of engineering design is your team on?
Our team is iterating our bridge design, and we've went through almost at least 5 iterations by now. Our team is our design started off being as short as this, but then we realized the cup couldn't fit through this, so we tried making it taller. Now here's my teammate Noel to explain this.
So basic. Hi, my name is Noel, and I'll be going into research. So currently, what we did is we first started to just build the road, and we thought if we could just make it sturdy enough, it would be able to hold the spheral. But we found some problems, and obviously it would just collapse because the spheral's weight, or the spheral will either collapse in, like, and break the whole thing, or just roll off. So we just, me and my team decided that we were gonna do supports. So we started researching about different supports we can use to hold up the bridge, so we can move the spheral, so we can bring like attention to people. And we came across the truss bridge. The truss bridge is a really good design because it goes in a triangular position that is really sturdy, because the stick goes up and the stick goes down, and there's two sticks holding it, and then you can keep on going in a pattern. And the good thing about it is you don't use too much sticks, because you don't have to fill in every hole in the triangle. So it was really good and less material wasted. So we decided to use it. And that's what we did right here, as you can see with our truss bridge triangular decision. And we also decided to, so it wouldn't fall over, to build up so it could fit the cup. And we also connected both of them by putting 3 sticks on top, connecting them all.
Wow, that's awesome. What part has been the most challenging part of the STEAM design?
The most challenging part of our STEAM design was definitely the support, because of course we thought that the road could hold it up, but it didn't. So we had to go into depth and research all about different supports we could use. And that's when we came across the truss bridge. The support was definitely the most challenging part for me and my team.
Thanks for sharing, team. Let's go hear from another wildlife expert team. Hi, Parth. What part of your engineering design is your team on?
Hello, we've completed the scene challenge. Let me show you how it works. So it works by popsicle sticks being taped together, and then we just make like this little like road right here, and then we form A's with popsicle sticks and tape, and then that can be our side structure. So when the spiral is going, it wouldn't fall off the sides. And then we added foam so the spiral can drive better, and then we added these pipe cleaners, so then it could be more structurized with the A's on the side. Our spiral is our isolated mountain lion and other wildlife in the LA mountains. And then this is the 101 freeway where the cars drive, and then the spiral, which is our mountain lion, drives across. The problem is the 101 freeway cut off the biodiversity and therefore can cause extinction of mountain lions. To solve this, we designed a wildlife crossing bridge where our spiral can safely cross, rejuvenating the biodiversity in our ecosystems. Our bridge was inspired by the truss design to help make it sturdy enough for the spiral.
That's quite impressive, guys. Good job helping out the mountain lions. Is there anything else you would like to do differently next time?
I would add a little bit less tape on the bridge, because when the spiral is going, sometimes it might get sticked on, and yeah, so that's the thing I would do differently next time.
So amazing, thank you. Let's go check out one more team. Hi, Sophia. I hear your team is a lady of engineers. What part is, can you explain more for us?
Hi, our team designed a mix of a suspension and truss bridge in order to help save our LA mountain lions and other species that live in the mountains. So Natalie has created an awesome picture of a mountain lion that she drew herself. And we've created our bridge out of foam, popsicle sticks, and pipe cleaners to help our bridge. Underneath, we can't see it, but we have figured out how to make support by making a truss design on our bridge.
Wow, that's great design. Now, what is your team working on now?
Our team is working to produce a news broadcast to show our work. Here's what we have so far. I've created a Tinkercad to show the problem of animals not being able to cross to the highway and be connected with biodiversity. But the solution is that with animal crossings, the animals can cross over and reconnect with the biodiversity.
I'm certainly feeling inspired. Can you show us another app?
We have created a news broadcast and clips. We're not done yet, but here's what we have so far. We're putting together our documentation of what we've been doing through our process. Stay tuned on Padlet.
Wow, thank you for sharing, team. I really am glad that I was able to be here. Well, that's all for now, folks. Let's let these innovative wildlife activists get back to work and continue to conserve the biodiversity of LA. Now let's send it over to Miss Morales' class at Rio San Gabriel.
Good morning. I'm Nayeli Arceo.
And I'm Sofia Carrillo, and we're from US San Gabriel Elementary School.
Today we're in our innovations lab where students can use technology to create, communicate, collaborate, and use their critical thinking skills. Today we're going to be taking a deeper look into 3 different stations. But first, let's hear a little bit more about our innovations lab from our Vice Principal, Mrs. Israwi.
Thank you, Nayeli. All of our elementary schools have a creative space called an innovation lab. This is just one example of a flexible learning area here on campus. These spaces give the students the opportunity to be creative and collaborative. Let's take a look at some of the stations that we have around our lab. Behind me, you'll see our Lego wall, where students have the chance to work on spatial reasoning and fine motor skills. Keyboards are available for students to use and create music in GarageBand. Our magnet tiles and marble run in the back of the room allow students to practice their engineering and design skills. Over here to our right, you'll see students are using Logitech pens to create projects for Earth Day using the Sketch School app. Now let's delve a little deeper into 3 of our other learning stations here in the Innovation Lab. Take it away, Sophia and Nayeli.
Our first station is the Robots, where students use their iPads to control and code their robots. There are 3 different apps that work with these robots. Let's see what app they're using. Hey, Talia, what app are you using?
Hi, Sophia. We are working with the Robots in the app Wonder. This app on the iPad allows us to use code to communicate with the different robots. In order to move the robot around, we have to use the robot icon and connect it with the move code so the robot knows exactly where to go and what to do. There are so many different coding icons for light, sound, and animation, which make the robots do really cool things.
That's cool. Can you make the robot turn right, flash red, and then look around?
Yeah, watch this.
Very neat. Next up, we have our second station, which is the green screen. Students use the green screen by adding extra effects or even putting themselves in different places. Let's see what our green screen station is up to. Hey, Angela, what are you up to?
Hey, Sophia. Today we're working on putting ourselves in different places since we have been working on our passion project in class. So for our passion project, we have to write a paragraph describing ourselves and what we are passionate about so we can put it into an iMovie at a later time. You can see that my group is currently using the iPads to record with the green screen behind us. So once we finish recording, we can take these videos from our camera roll and place them into the green screen app. This is where we can edit the videos and put whichever background we'd like behind us.
That's cool. Can you really put yourself anywhere?
Yeah, all you have to do is find the background you'd like online and then in the green screen app insert it as your background. I could be on Mars if I really wanted to.
Wow, that's really cool. I think I'd put myself at Disneyland. Now, before we move on to our last station, let's look at our green screen station to see what everyone else is doing right now. Now for our last station, the Ozobots. Here at our Ozobot station, students can use their iPads and create live code on construction paper to control the robots and make them do different actions. Hey, Joseph, what are you doing right now here at the Ozobot station?
Hello, Nayeli. Today we've been given the challenge to move the Ozobot 2 times to the right, 2 times to the left, and asked to speed up or slow down at least 4 times.
That's cool. Where do you find the coding so you know how to draw?
There's a section on the app that gives you the different codes. This is where I've designed my map according to the instructions my teacher has given me. You could use the block lead to code different things, the color markers to code different actions, or the black marker to move it freely without code. It's actually very fun.
I bet. But before we wrap things up, let's see what the station is up to right now. Well, today you've gotten just a glimpse of what we do here in the Innovation Lab. There are so many different opportunities for students to use technology in a fun and innovative way.
Our Real San Gabriel Innovations Lab really does give students the opportunity to become 21st century learners. We can't wait to see what our school creates next. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.
Bye.
And back to Miss Robbins.
Thank you so much, all of our students at our 5 schools that we got to visit today. I have chills, I have tears. You are amazing, friends. So proud of all of you. At this time, I'd like to welcome Dr. George back. And George, again, thanking you for your partnership, for your collaboration, just again, being able to plan with you and share ideas. It has just really helped us to, think outside of the box and continue to push ourselves in our innovation. So again, thank you. And I'd like to turn it over to you for some Q&A.
I'm kind of speechless. I saw so many great things there. And even though I'll admit we rehearsed parts of this, there was so many things that were not rehearsed, where students were passing the mic, talking and things like that. And before we actually start this part of the Q&A and everybody is getting ready, everybody out there, I'd like for you, and we're going to do this as a waterfall moment I'll give you about 15 seconds to think about a comment, something that you saw, an aha moment, not a question, but a comment, something to say thank you, and be specific. Say something that is very specific. And in about 10 more seconds, we're all going to press return at the same time. Okay, so again, an aha moment, a comment that you'd like to tell the kids, tell the faculty, tell the staff and the administration, something that you heard, saw, or experienced. Okay, we're gonna drop this and press return in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and press that return. Oh my goodness, you see, there's so many great comments here. And I hope that, Jennifer, your school district, your kids will get a chance to see them, because we have almost 200 people participating here. So there are comments left and right that are just flooding the chat. And I hope that we can, frankly speak, give them over to the kids so that they understand how important this is, as well as the teachers and the administrators seeing this. So thank you, everyone, for really calling out the aha moments that you saw and the things that you are just experiencing through this time that we have. With that in mind, as we are going through this, and I'm trying to even read some of these, it's a little bit hard, but just the idea of student-driven articulation of what they're doing, the work from each of these schools, and I personally saw how it was just so fluid from the kindergartners all the way to the 5th graders, being able to pass the microphone. I felt like I was in a newscast, and these kids were doing that. And everyone, I mean, the really reason that I love one of the things was that backpack journalism idea. They took out their iPad and they were filming, they were broadcasting. So again, thank you everyone for writing in your comments. I'm going to dig into some Q&A. And before I do, I'd love for any of you out there to put your questions into the chat or the Padlet. And if we don't get to your questions right now, don't worry. The team here at Downey Unified is going to answer that and push that out onto the Padlet as one of the follow-ups. So I do want to call that out. And again, thank you, Dr. Garcia, Dr. Wayne Shannon, and Jennifer, as well as the rest of the team. It's been a great collaboration over these last years, 5-6 years, and being able to work alongside you. I'm humbled by just seeing the great things that you're doing, and I'm excited to see what next things you're going to roll out. So before I let any of the adults speak, because adults love to speak, I'm going to pause all of you, and I'm going to press pause because I want to focus these questions right now on our students and allow the students to actually share out some of their thoughts. Okay, so students, if you're out there, I'd love for you to chime in because there's so many adults right now wanting to hear from you. We just heard some of the great practices, saw the things that you're doing, but I want to ask you some specific questions. So go ahead and come online with your teacher's help if you need it. And the question is, we know that kids around the world are using technology for games, for things like watching and consumption, like watching videos. But we also know it can be used as learning tools, just like we saw that you're using. So help us understand a little bit more how you as a student are using the technology for learning. So I'll turn that over to any of the students that want to share out.
Can I answer?
Go right ahead.
Well, my answer is, how don't you learn? This world that we're growing up in has so much technology in it. We get to communicate our ideas through Flipgrid, Padlet, and so many other apps. We get to access apps and smash them together using we get to smash them together in moving progress with our lives. This makes learning so much fun.
I love what you said there. How else would you learn? I mean, it's so funny because I think about technology and what you just said there is technology is only technology if we were born before the technology. And that's why adults sometimes have a hard time. But you have just demonstrated that it's just part of your life. It's just part of what you do as learning. So thank you so much. Anyone else want to answer out there? Some of the students in any of the other locations?
I think for me, technology has also been like a source as in like learning because during lockdown, a lot of times you would only be able to use Zoom to call. So it kind of helped everyone still feel connected to their classroom and their teachers. But again, they still got to learn a lot from it. And it was kind of like a new experience for everyone. And now we're able to use technology like in Google Classroom to still stay connected. And there's different learning apps, like even Minecraft EDU, which a lot of people used to play around. There's still like coding abilities, so you can learn to code on the app and you can use Tinker to code. So generally technology just really helps us learn and have fun too, and also stay connected.
Golden would like to go next.
Go ahead, Golden.
It allows us to explore outside our classroom and use our creativity.
Love it. And adding on from Old River School. Go ahead, Sophia.
It helps us connect with people outside of the classroom. Like one time we met Amanda Gorman, and we've also learned about insects from people who work to save insects.
Thank you. Was there anyone else out there, any of the students that wanted to share?
Dr. G, we have another call out from a student.
Thank you, David.
In lockdown, technology was the one way we could learn, and we learned a lot through lockdown and more about technology.
You know, kids, I love what you said there, because one of the things that we know that happened in these last several years was that lockdown, was this idea of Zoom. But you obviously have shown us that there's more than just videoing and showing a lecture. There's so much to that. And I love the idea of what you move from the kindergarten all the way to the 5th grade. I'm super excited about the things that you're going to solve as students, because the reality is all of us adults, we don't know how to solve some of the world problems. And just the glimpse of what we saw there, again, thank you so much for showing us how you're going to be the next ones that are going to solve our world problems. Thank you again out there. Now I'm going to turn this over to the adults. And thinking about this for the adults here, how do you get students to realize, and I'm going to throw this out to all of you, how do you get students to realize technology as a tool for learning and not simply a consumption where they're just watching or maybe just a simple Zoom kind of call? So how do you get them to realize technology is a tool for learning?
Galton has Mrs. Heather Curcio.
I'd say a lot of times in the beginning of the year, we really give the students that opportunity to explore the apps and the technology and let them kind of learn more about it and have discussions about, well, how can that app be used in the classroom to show your creativity, to show your thinking? And then throughout the year, we build on that. And then they're given that opportunity then to choose the apps that they want to highlight and spotlight what they've learned. But I think it's just a lot of discussions and building the community so that they learn it is another way to show what they've been working on in class. And it's not just, for gaming or watching YouTube videos, unless of course it's a video that's teaching them how to do something, then they've also used it for that purpose.
Wow. So what you just said to me was you're having a conversation with the kids about some of the things that they want to do, how they want to learn. That is a somewhat of a revelation in the sense of having this idea that they are at the table to have a conversation about that voice and choice. Thank you so much. Anybody else want to chime in?
Hey, Dr. G from Old River, Ms. Neal here. I think it just comes down to the basics of teaching, of knowing your students, knowing your standards, and then understanding what motivates them to want to learn and then show their thinking. And I think that question of like, how do we transform technology to more than just substitution, using the SAMR model as like a guide, but not like the end all be all, but also relying on each other. We have such an amazing connection and collaborative like environment here in Downey that we reach out, we're constantly collaborating together as professionals, and then using Apple teachers' resources such as Everyone Can Create, and just using those in our lesson plan strategically. And like Heather said over at Golden, it's like giving the kids voice and choice. It might be like, hey, I want you to figure this app out and show me what you can do. And they teach me so much more than I've taught them. So it's just fun. We have fun.
Yeah, I love the word fun. I mean, we don't have to make it, we can make education fun again. We can make education where it's relevant for our students. Thank you. Does any other administrator want to chime in or leader?
Hi, over at Golden again. We just wanted to share that this is our kids' future. Technology is not going anywhere, and these are how these kids are going to grow, and their future is going to be technology. So giving them the opportunities to explore, be creative, use all these, they're just going to prepare them for their future to be successful. And again, it's just completely engage kids in the learning, that it's no longer a toy, it's a tool, and they love it. They're engaged. They want to learn more. They want to explore. They want to collaborate. So it's just a great transformation in the classroom.
And thank you for that, because that actually transitions me into the next question, because I think about what all of you are doing. And I think about the idea of, and I've always seen this when I was an educator in the classroom as well, is how are we doing things in the classroom and how does that connect to their future? So this question is very future oriented. Do you feel that this technology is helping students prepare for this real world, this world that jobs do not exist? And please help me explain, because I saw things, but I want to make sure that we're explicit, agreeing, understanding that what you're doing has ramifications for the real world in their future. So I'll throw this out to the leaders out there and teachers, even if the students want to answer, because I see eagerness in the students right now. So by all means, anybody want to chime in?
I'll go ahead. I'm Crystal Moran from Imperial Elementary. And just like you said, Dr. G, these jobs that they're preparing for don't exist yet. They are the creators of not only these jobs, but everything that the future holds. And you see it in the classroom, just as all the other teachers said. These students come up with these ideas. They have this creativity already kind of innately built into them. So you give them a task and they're able to tackle it and give you solutions, even without maybe giving them a strict set of guidelines. So the students will come up with what it is that they need, or a problem that if you even pose something to them, they can come up with a problem and a solution, and kind of challenge each other with those critical thinking skills. So we may not know what the future holds, but we're seeing it unfold in the classroom as we give them the technology every day.
You know, something, and I'll let another person chime in, something that you kind of mentioned is that art of letting go. Sometimes we as adults want to say, this is what you need to learn. This is what you need to receive from our conversation, from our lesson planning. But what you're saying there is sometimes we have to let go, because sometimes it really manifests into something that is really personal for the students, really connected, because ultimately, like Dr. Garcia said, we are preparing our students for the 21st century. And honestly, we're preparing them for the 22nd century now. Thank you. Anyone else would like to chime in?
Dr. G, I'll share from Lewis. This is Allie Box.
Hi.
Just wanted to kind of just sort of piggyback on what one of our student leaders had shared earlier when she was like, how do we not learn? How do we not learn with technology, right? And so the exciting thing is our students, you know, they don't know a world without tech. So with that being said, I think it's just that expectation that they have access to technology, and it's our responsibility, right, to teach our students, right, how to navigate the world safely, but really unleash that instructional power of the tool, which is what our teachers are doing every day. As Mrs. Robinson shared, the magic that's happening within our classrooms. And so that's why it's so important to provide robust professional learning opportunities for our teachers. You know, the way our teachers are planning their lessons, it's how they're engaging our students in really powerful learning. So it's an exciting time to be in the classroom and to be a learner.
Yeah, and something that you hit on, Allie, there was this idea that we can't just throw technology at the students. We can't just simply say here because they're born with it, because what you said was there's a connection point from the pedagogical understanding that teachers are not being replaced by technology, but rather it's even more important that the teachers have the training to be able to incorporate the technology with the pedagogy and being able to say, how do we help students? How do we facilitate, not so much lead, because sometimes we don't have to know everything, but what you're saying is we still have to train our teachers. And I'm glad that your district, your school sites have each invested into making sure that our teachers have those understandings for that. As everyone is still thinking about this question and someone wants to still chime in, I'm going to throw this back out to the attendees. If you have a question, please go ahead and put it into the chat, because we're going to try to start pulling some of those questions if we can, if we have some more time. So again, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask or anything that you'd like to connect about, please go ahead and put that into the chat or the Padlet. So I'm going to throw that question back to you again about, do you feel that the technology is helping students to prepare for the real world? If anybody else would like to chime in, by all means, come in and chime in.
Yeah, Partha here wanted to answer this right away for you. Here's my student Partha.
So in the bridge building project alone, we were doing all kinds of things, being architects, 3D designers, and for the news broadcast, we were even being video producers. And we were also being animators with the keynote.
And it's fun.
It's fun too.
That's fantastic. It's so amazing, because I don't know if you know this, but in the real world, you're somewhat close to Hollywood, California. And the idea that the jobs that you're doing are real jobs out there. People are holding the camera. People are actually holding the microphone and being a newscaster. So you're actually preparing skills that have jobs out there in the real world. So thank you.
Hey, Dr. G, wanted to jump in here. David Sid, you know, as I was watching the kids, and definitely as we were all amazed together, some things caught my attention that I think would also answer this question as well, is that sometimes there's this notion that technology maybe is the opposite, and it's creating, you know, students who aren't engaged, or maybe students who could be perceived as, you know, lazy, just being attached to technology. But what you really see is a real attention to detail You see curiosity sparked. You see passion and motivation. And those are pieces that I see in an individual's life when you're looking to leave your legacy and your mark in this world. Those are pieces that ignite people to move forward and really march forward in their world and make a difference. So those are pieces that, caught my attention today in these demonstrations for our kids.
Thank you so much, David, for chiming in, because even the World Economic Forum, and a lot of us have been talking about, quote, these soft skills. And really, these are actually essential skills, because the World Economic Forum has indicated by the year 2022, this year, that creativity is the most in-demand skill by our employers, by jobs and businesses out there. And so even as we push towards the next several years out there, 2025, and we start to think, what are some of those skills that are in demand by our companies, by our jobs and businesses out there? They're talking about things that you just said, emotional intelligence, critical thinking, collaboration, and connection. So I love how you're kind of leaning in as a district, each as a school site, to be able to say, these are the skill sets, because ultimately that's what the World Economic Forum has even said. Now, before I move on to the next question, I just want to make sure if there's any other students, I don't want to cut this off, any other students or leaders out there that want to chime into this question before I move to the next question.
Oh, then let me mention here. So the technology that we have here, and it helps us think outside the box, and it's helping us prepare for the future years that we're going to have the new technology. It's like this. We barely even had cameras back in the old days, and it was black and white. But now we can communicate with people from across the world on video chat, seeing their face from across the world from a different country.
And you are definitely right about that. Sorry, did I interrupt you? Did you want to say something? Okay. You are definitely right, because here right now we have several hundred people literally connecting around the world and watching all of you. So thank you so much. And I'm going to move to this next question here. Okay. This is all well and good. We're using technology, but can you tell me what are some of those positive things, positive results that have come forward from this? Can you tell me some of those things that your students, whether it's maybe your students or even your teachers, some of those positive things that have come forward because you're not just bringing in technology, but really utilizing that technology with the students?
Karen Jasich from Old River. I think it's the autonomy that we see our students having and the ownership they have in their learning. We see their creativity, and they really do love to share what their experiences are in their learning process. So it's wonderful to see, and it's so exciting to see their individual personalities come out, their strengths, and the ownership that they have in what they're learning and the whole process, the learning process.
I love what you said, because admittedly, when I graduated from my K-12 experience, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I had no idea where I was going. I was kind of lost. And what I'm seeing here is you're saying that students are learning to kind of move towards and forge forward what they'd like to be. I heard something about passion projects and things about solving real world problems, like they did with that Sphero going over the 101 bridge or freeway. That's amazing, because I'm thinking about, as they're moving towards that high school, as they're moving towards the graduation, they're thinking about how to solve these real world problems and really direct into, like you said, an autonomy that some kids don't necessarily are thinking of. Thank you. Anyone else out there?
Dr. G, it's Peggy over at Imperial. I just like to talk a little bit about student leadership. So we have TK through third grade students at our school. And some of the things we've seen with technology is we have coding at every grade level, K through third. And just seeing that these kids can do so much, even at a very young age, has been really inspiring for all of us. We have tech squads, and we have our second and third grade students that are the ones involved in that. And that involves not only them with peers going into other classrooms and peer tutoring, but also them tutoring and supporting adults on campus as needed. So that's another exciting part of this, is that leadership that we're seeing from our students. And it's a gradual release here. We, show them that responsibility and how to be respectful in those that good global citizenship, but then it's them, taking it over and starting so they can go on to the next school with some of those skills.
And I think the key word that you said wasn't just leadership, it was that servant leadership, being able to help others, being able to help other students, being able to help leaders in the school as their teachers. Again, this is fantastic because, again, you're creating a culture. It's a mindset for realizing that students, teachers, administrators, we're all in this together. And I think this was said by Jennifer Robbins, is we as a community. So that brings in from Apple to the local businesses to the parents, involvement of parents, and as well as everyone at the school site to be able to, one, raise our students, and two, really think about their future as our future, because they are our future. Thank you so much. I'm going to call this out to Carol and Tanya out there that's been overseeing the chat and the Padlet. If you want to call out any of the questions that some of our attendees out there have been thinking about, if you'd like to raise that up to the rest of us so that we can start to think about some of those answers.
So one of the common questions that we're getting is about a student tech squad. What is it, and who oversees them, and how are they trained? So there's a lot of questions about tech squads.
We'll turn that over to you.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
So this is Mrs. Leifam from Rio San Gabriel. So the tech squad that we have here is just a group of students. For my students, they essentially kind of like tried out and they had to create something and submit it. And so I actually had about 60 applicants that wanted to try out for tech team. And I will say about 40 of them were girls. So woohoo, girl power. And we've been working really, really hard this year. The kids actually have been creating like commercials for our spirit days. So that way the teachers can push them out. They come up with flyers. They work in the innovation lab. We use the green screen. And so it's just a really awesome opportunity for the students to really showcase their learning with the different apps that they use, like Pic Collage, green screen, and so forth. And so it's just it's a lot of fun in tech team altogether. And it's a really tight community. The kids know each other. We've been working together all year. So it's just another outlet for them.
Love that, Kara. Yes, Kara and I actually work together. We're not at the same school this year, but we share a lot of our tech team resources together. So we're better together here in Downey. And very similar to Kara's structure over at RSG, we have a group of about 12 fifth graders here at Old River School, and they are our leaders. And so I've taken those ISTE standards and kind of just empowered them to become the digital leaders here on this campus. And our students started out by just kind of managing the devices and helping teachers manage. But then as we've evolved as educators and as a district, we're now like many years into our tech team. And so our team is now actually creating little creativity challenges that we blast to the whole school, where the kids are inspiring others to get creative and share their voice back to them. And then they're commenting back on the projects students are sharing. And right now we're in the middle of filming during lunches, a little Gator family feud with trivia questions. They just love it. Our tech team totally loves it. We started out meeting like once a week. I saw that question on the Padlet. How often do we meet? We meet once a week. At Old River, we meet before school and during lunch recess, and the kids love it. They want to meet more often. Like this week, we'll meet all during lunches, and I'm totally fine with it. It's just fun. It's like Kara said, such a close group, and their community within each other is pushing themselves forward, as well as inspiring them to be the digital leaders in their own classrooms and around our campus. So it's just a really cool leadership aspect our students are given that platform and that voice for.
Thank you so much. As we are coming up to the bottom of the hour and wrapping up a few things, I just want to call out, first of all, thank you so much for showcasing all of your beautiful schools. The work that you're doing is going to showcase, and I'm actually excited in coming the next 20 years when these kids become adults and they're going to be solving the world problems that we see, because I'm already seeing those glimpses here. So thank you so much, first of all. Secondly, out there, just to make sure that you know this, I'm from the Apple education team, and you have a local team. So please reach out, because we'd love to partner with you. As I've been working with Downey Unified for many years now, just kind of bring in some of the thoughts. How do we support you and amplify the work that you're doing at your school and your district? So I just want to call that out. Also, a little surprise here. Some of you have already received their 2-page reports of what they're doing as an Apple Distinguished School. We've seen it today. And come the fall, if you want to see this in person, they are going to be hosting an in-person visit so you can take a tour amongst these different schools. So they'll TBA that and let you know when that comes in the fall, but they're so excited to meet some of you in the face-to-face. So you have, if you're around the world, about 6 months to plan for that if you'd like to come out. But I hope that you can see and get a sense of the things that you're experiencing today. I'm going to turn this over to Jennifer Robbins again to close with any closing remarks.
Thank you so much, Dr. George. And what Dr. George says is absolutely true too. He is a partner for us, and he absolutely is there to help you every single step of the way. So if he is your partner in Apple, please reach out to him, because that collaboration just continues to help us grow. And I just want to reiterate too, thank you to all of our schools, to our students. You had me in tears. You were just amazing. And jumping on really quick to George, to one of the questions you asked about the successes with technology. I think one of the biggest things that we saw today that was a success was the confidence, the articulation of our students, and the way they did handle themselves, the way they did speak and interact with each other, which wasn't per se the technology, but a result of empowering them with that technology to find their own voice and their confidence to navigate through this world. And these are elementary students. So when they move on to middle school, to high school and beyond, giving them those tools to be able to advocate for themselves and pursue excellence and success in their education. And to just our teachers, our staffs, you are just phenomenal. Thank you so much. And again, thank you to our superintendent, Dr. Garcia, Dr. Shannon, our school board and our cabinet who helps provide us the lens and the direction to go in, and to all of our support staff, all of our TOSAs who are there every day working with teachers side by side, doing this work together. And thank you to all of you for sharing this time with us. We know, time is precious and you are all so busy, and to be able to share this time with you is very special for us. And again, we will continue to answer the Padlet questions. We will share everything with you. One of the questions I saw was making it copyable. We will do that, but remember to check back to the original in case we add anything. We don't want you to miss out on that. So again, Dr. George, thank you for giving us this opportunity. We're very, very humbled. We're just very appreciative, and we just wish everyone the best in pursuing amazing opportunities for your students.
Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for attending. Look forward to seeing you in the fall.
Thank you, everyone. Have an amazing rest of your day, night, or morning, depending on where you're from.